Tabloids and trolls on their knees, British press, fumes over Harry and Meghan winning Humanitarian Award, while Trump is snubbed for Nobel Peace Prize. Shockwaves rippled across Britain and beyond the moment the news broke. Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, had been named Humanitarians of the Year, an honour bestowed upon those who redefine compassion, courage, and service for the modern world. The applause was thunderous, the recognition was historic, and yet, as the golden light of gratitude and admiration surrounded the Sussexes, the familiar roar of bitterness rose from the corners of the British tabloids, the same corners that have long waged a war of envy against a man who chose truth over tradition, love over privilege, and purpose over palace politics. Prince Harry, once painted as the spare, has risen higher than anyone could have predicted, not by royal decree, but by the force of his character. The boy who once walked behind his mother's coffin, holding back tears as the nation watched, has grown into a man of remarkable strength and unwavering conviction. Tonight, as he stood on stage beside Meghan, accepting the Humanitarian Award, the world saw not just a prince, but a man who redefined what it means to serve humanity. The British press could barely contain their fury. They twisted headlines, rolled out the usual chorus of bitterness, and tried to downplay what had just occurred. But the truth was too blinding to deny. While Donald Trump was once again denied the Nobel Peace Prize, it was Prince Harry and Meghan Markle who stood before the world, celebrated not for politics or power, but for kindness, empathy, and action. And that, for the tabloids, was unforgivable. For years, the British media built their empire on tearing Harry and Meghan apart. They mocked their compassion, belittled their choices, and demonized their independence. But this award shattered every false narrative. It was proof, undeniable, loud, and global, that the world sees the Sussexes for who they truly are, a beacon of modern leadership in an age hungry for authenticity. The crowd that evening was electric. Every camera lens caught the same magic: Harry's confident smile, Meghan's radiant grace, and the unmistakable aura of two people who have endured the storm and come out stronger. Harry's voice trembled only slightly as he began to speak, not from fear, but from the weight of gratitude. "Service," he said, "is universal. It's not something tied to a title or a crown. It's a choice." Those words echoed like a lightning strike through the world of those who had once mocked him. Service is not inherited, it is earned. And Harry, through his work with veterans, mental health advocacy, and global humanitarian efforts, has earned every ounce of the recognition he now receives. This was not just an award, it was a statement, a declaration that kindness triumphs over cruelty, and that courage cannot be silenced by slander. Across social media, love poured in. "Prince Harry is what true leadership looks like," one fan wrote. Another said, "He turned pain into purpose. Diana would be so proud." And indeed, that was the undercurrent running through the night. Diana's legacy was alive in her youngest son. The compassion she embodied, the love she spread, the injustice she fought, all of it lived on in Harry. The tabloids, however, could not stand it. They tried to shift focus, writing stories about old grievances, concocting gossip about Meghan's wardrobe, and even dragging irrelevant political comparisons into the mix. But the world had moved on from their noise. The world had chosen Harry. This was a prince who walked away from privilege to protect his wife. A man who chose truth when lies would have been easier. A father who shields his children from the cruelty of a press that once haunted his mother. A husband who stands by his wife not as a shadow, but as a partner in purpose. And tonight, every word, every action, every tearful moment from the past years seemed to culminate in this, a standing ovation that thundered through the hall as he and Meghan received their award. "Tabloids and trolls are on their knees," read one viral post from a supporter. And indeed they were, silenced by the very reality they tried to deny. For years they said Harry and Meghan would fade. For years they said America wouldn't embrace them. And yet, here they are, embraced by a nation that values compassion over cruelty, respected by leaders across the world, and admired by millions who see in them the reflection of hope itself. Prince Harry's humanitarian legacy is now written in gold. From the Invictus Games to his work with mental health through Archewell, to the countless lives his voice has uplifted, Harry has shown that leadership is not about power. It's about purpose. The British establishment, meanwhile, stands in awkward silence. While their favourite figures scramble for headlines and royal appearances, Harry and Meghan command the world stage through authenticity. Their message resonates because it's real. They don't perform for cameras, they live their truth. It's this authenticity that burns the tabloids the most. They cannot fabricate scandal when the truth shines brighter than their lies. So they fume, they invent, they rage. But each hateful headline only exposes their desperation. The world knows, and the world is watching. Tonight, as Prince Harry accepted the award, Meghan's eyes glistened with pride. Her hands clasped his as the crowd rose to its feet. There was something almost poetic in that moment. The image of a couple once driven into exile by cruelty, now standing tall as global icons of compassion. The same press that once mocked them must now print their victory on every front page. Harry's courage is unmatched. It takes a brave man to speak truth to power, to stand firm when the system turns against you, to rebuild your life not through inheritance, but through integrity. Every cause he touches, from environmental protection to the mental health of soldiers, from children's well-being to the fight for truth in media, reflects his unwavering sense of duty. And it is that duty, that unshakable moral compass, that has made the world fall in love with him all over again. Meanwhile, the irony of Trump being snubbed for the Nobel Peace Prize while Harry and Meghan are honoured as humanitarians was not lost on the public. A prince who heals the world is celebrated, a politician who divides it is rejected, one commentator wrote. And it was true. This wasn't just a night of awards, it was a night of moral reckoning. For years, some circles of power have mocked compassion as weakness. They've dismissed empathy as performative. But Harry has turned that notion upside down. He has shown that real strength lies in vulnerability, that leadership without compassion is tyranny, and that a man's worth is measured not by the title before his name, but by the lives he touches. The air at the gala was thick with reverence. Every word, every gesture from Harry carried emotional weight. He didn't speak of revenge, he didn't speak of the past, he spoke of hope. Every child deserves safety, every veteran deserves healing, every human deserves dignity, he said. And for a moment, the room was silent, overcome by the raw humanity of his words. In that silence, the world saw the man Diana raised him to be. And yet, even as the applause roared, even as his name trended across continents, the British tabloids churned out their recycled bitterness. "Harry snubs the crown again," one sneered. "Hollywood humanitarian," another spat. But each insult only highlighted how little they understood him. Harry's humanitarian spirit was never about show. It was about soul. His courage was never rebellion. It was revelation. He didn't leave the institution to escape duty. He left to redefine it. And redefine it he has. Through the Archewell Foundation, he and Meghan have built bridges where others built walls. They've supported communities devastated by war, families shattered by mental illness, and children lost in cycles of poverty and neglect. They've used their platform not for profit, but for purpose. And tonight, the world responded with gratitude. Prince Harry's courage has always been quiet, the kind that doesn't seek applause, but earns it. It's in the way he listens, the way he comforts a veteran struggling with trauma, the way he stands beside survivors of pain with humility instead of pity. That's the kind of man he is, and that's the kind of man the world needs. Back in Britain, palace insiders may pretend indifference, But even they cannot ignore what's happening. The monarchy may cling to protocol, but the future belongs to authenticity. And authenticity has a name: Prince Harry. His journey has not been without sacrifice. He's lost family connections, endured public humiliation, and faced relentless attacks from a press that feeds on distortion. But none of it has broken him. Instead, it forged him. The fire that once tried to destroy him only purified his purpose. Meghan, standing by his side, embodies the grace that matches his strength. Together, they represent the evolution of royalty, from crown to compassion, from pageantry to purpose. When the history books are written, this night will be remembered as a turning point, when the world chose humanity over hierarchy. When a prince, armed with nothing but truth, compassion, and courage, silenced his critics not with anger, but with achievement. The trolls may sneer, the tabloids may twist, but the world has made up its mind. Prince Harry is not a runaway royal. He is a revolutionary royal, one who has transformed tragedy into triumph, pain into purpose, and exile into empowerment. The Humanitarian Award was more than recognition, it was vindication. It was proof that the boy who once bowed to a queen has grown into a man who stands tall before the world, not because of the title he was born with, but because of the life he has built. And so, as the cameras flashed and applause thundered, the image of Prince Harry, smiling beside Meghan, holding his award, eyes glistening with humble pride, became a symbol of what true royalty looks like in the modern world. Not a crown, not a palace, but a heart that serves. Tonight, the tabloids lie broken on their knees, the trolls retreat into silence, and the world, once divided by gossip, unites in admiration for the man who rose above it all. Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, the soldier, the son, the father, the husband, the humanitarian. The man who proved that courage is not born in castles, but in character. And as the night drew to a close, one truth echoed across the globe, carried on every tweet, headline, and heartbeat. Love always wins. Courage always conquers. And Prince Harry, forever Diana's son, has won the world's heart all over again.
Wow, wow, wow. Wow, that was a great submission. And to all our peculiar and amazing Sussex family, thank you all for working with us in this juncture, for supporting Harry and Meghan. And do not forget to subscribe, like, and put a comment. Bye bye. See you in our next episode.